Everyone knows somebody who should watch Kitchen Independence with David Doc Robertson, Saturday mornings at 10:30 on KPSE My TV. It's a nice spring day, and you want something refreshing. I've got just the thing. Hello, and welcome back to Kitchen Independence. I'm glad you can make it back today because we're going to have something special. I'm sticking with the fish theme, and I'm going to make a couple of fish dishes, and they're both really easy. Alright? They might sound difficult, but they're not. Now, the first one is I'm going to make a very easy shrimp ceviche. Alright, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started. It has a lot of good things in it. The more color you have on your plate, the better off you are. This stuff is actually nature's Viagra. And, that's probably why olive oil was so attracted to Popeye, because he always ate his greens. Okay? Alright. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get started, and you got to make sure that the shrimp that you have are cooked, deveined, and detailed. Take the tails off. I have a van outside. It needs good detailing too, but that's a different story. Okay, so once I get the tails off, then I separate them away from the shrimp, and now I have to dice the shrimp. Okay? These things don't take long, and if they do, you just gotta be patient. Alright? Okay. So now that we have these dice, I'm just going to pick them up and put them right here in my little black dish. Okay. I always try to buy shrimp that are pre-cooked. And then that way I don't have to go through the process of cooking them myself and then deveining them. And, I don't mind cutting the tails off, but those two things are quite a process. So I figure, why put myself through that? Alright? You didn't see that. Okay, so now I'm going to dice this onion. As you can see, come out all nice. Okay, so try to, if the onion is really strong, try to hold your breath so that you don't get a lot of those fumes in. I just add that right here in with the shrimp. And now it's time for the bell pepper. The reason why I'm using bell pepper in place of jalapenos. Because jalapenos and I do not get along. Alright, so we have these done. We put those in here. There we go. And now I'm going to add a mixture of lime juice and orange juice to this. I have it right here. Now, when other people make this meal, they would use raw fish and then let it soak in the lime juice, and that would cook it. But since I'm not really into sushi and I'm not familiar how to do that, I'm not going to try it like that, so that's why I'm using the fresh shrimp. And besides, there have been some cases of illness with doing that. And nobody likes to be sick. So I added that lime juice and orange juice. And I'm going to mix this in. Okay. Oh, these shrimp don't want to come off. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to let this marinate in the refrigerator. But first we're going to take a break. So stick with us and we'll be right back.
They knew they were acting on an impulse. But what is life without adventure? Though how would they measure success? 1 year or 2? Or maybe they would look at one another 60 years from that moment and tell each other that they did it. That's what they wanted, and pledged in their hearts to work for it every day. Read about these two and their passionate dedication in David Doc Robertson's Body and Soul. Get yours today in paperback or the ebook format on Amazon.com. That's Body and Soul. Get yours today.
Okay, now I'm going to move on to the cucumber. And you know that when you're looking up recipes, online, remember to modify the recipe, the amounts, for the number of people that you're serving. Alright? And what I'll do is I'll get the slices and then cut those into thirds. As you can see, this dish is quite easy. Okay, I decided to dice some of these pieces. And now I'm just going to put those right in this measuring cup where I had the juice. You may notice that I don't use a lot of dishes when I cook, and that's for the simple reason that, you know, who wants to do a lot of dishes? Who wants to wash and clean a lot of dishes after eating? Okay? Like I always say, I am not Bobby Flay, and I don't have a lot of people who are going to clean up after me. Maybe when I get to that point, and that date will come soon, then I will have a whole cleanup crew, and I'll just go crazy in this kitchen. Alright? So, now that I have the cucumber done, I'm going to move on to the celery and the tomato. Welcome back, and as you can see, I'm just about done dicing this tomato. Alright? So I'm going to add this. Actually, I only used half a tomato because, like I said, I'm only cooking it for myself, and I modify the recipe. I ate the other half during the break while I was dicing this half. Okay, and now I'm going to move on to celery. There's a little part of the tomato that won't. There. That's what happens to tomatoes that don't get off the spatula when they should. Last ingredient I'm going to add is celery. Some people do not add celery, and some people add celery and a lot other things, like cilantro. Okay? Sometimes I would normally add cilantro, but I don't have any today. Believe it or not, some people have a genetic affinity against cilantro. That means that their taste buds and their olfactory perceive it as something different from what other people perceive. And if you look this up, you'll see that for some people, cilantro tastes like soap or dirt. And they say that, oops, you didn't see that. Here, let me have that.
They say.
You didn't see that. Okay. Oh wait, let's rinse that off.
Yeah.
And anything could happen here on this show. All right? They say that a good substitute for cilantro is fresh parsley. So I'm adding the celery over here. Okay, let's turn this around. There we go. I think, well, maybe we'll add just a little bit more. Okay. And while I'm doing this, I want to give a shout out to you veterans. I want to thank you for everything that you do for us as a country and as individuals. Like when you come in or when you utilize your services and came in and helped us during emergencies, things like that. If you ever have any issues with independence or questions about being independent, feel free to contact me at my email, and I will try to give you the best advice I can, because I know where you're coming from. Okay, now, most people when they make ceviche, what they do is they prepare tortillas and then serve it on top of tortillas with a spicy, tangy sauce. But I'm not going to serve it on tortillas, you know, like a seafood tostada. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to serve it around the salmon fillets. And that's going to be the easiest part of this meal. So I'm going to get started with seasoning the fillets. So I have two nice fillets here, salmon fillets. Now I bet you didn't know that salmon are born in fresh water. Now you don't want to season these too much, right? Because fish is not like red meat or chicken. It only takes a little bit of seasoning to help it out. Because these swim in the ocean, they have a lot of their own seasoning. So I'm going to go very light on the seasonings with these. Now they're born in fresh water, and then they migrate just a little bit. They migrate to the open ocean, mainly the northern Pacific or the northern Atlantic. And they spend about 4 to 5 years there. Let's turn these over. Oops. Let's turn these over. Today is just one of those days, folks. Okay. You want to season both sides very lightly. And then they return to the fresh water where they were born. They return there to spawn. I just find that one of nature's mysteries on how they find their way home, especially without GPS. These salmon are loaded with protein, vitamin B6, potassium, and they are low on cholesterol. So that's a good thing. The one thing they do have quite a bit of is sodium, and I'm sure that's from swimming in salt water for such a long time. All right? So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these seasonings out of my way. I'm going to put vegetable oil in the frying pan. Actually, no, this is not vegetable oil. I'm going to put olive oil in the frying pan. Okay. And you put just enough to coat the bottom because you're not frying them, you're just sauteing. Now, I'm going to turn this fire on. Put that on a medium fire so that the pan will heat up and so that I can get the sear going immediately as soon as you put them in there. Because like I always say, you don't want whatever it is you're cooking to sit in oil. And while that's warming up, we're going to take our second break and we'll be right back.
Get the story behind the wheelchair. Experience the trauma of shattered dreams and a poetic boxing match that ended faster than a flash of lightning. I Tried to Box with God, the memoirs of David Doc Robertson. Get yours today on Amazon.com.
Okay, welcome back. I took the ingredients that I had marinating in the refrigerator, I took those out, and now I'm going to add the other ingredients like the celery, the tomato, and the cucumber with these. Okay, and I'm going to stir it all up. All right, let's see here. Okay, so we want to make sure that everything gets in the juice. Okay. I'm going to use my big fork to give this a try. Let's see how we go. Wow. That's good. That's real good. Okay. I see success coming here. So now, I'm going to put the fillets right here in the frying pan. Okay. That's one. Oh, by the way, if you have fillets with skin on them, you always start them off with the skin side down. All right? There we go. Now you can hear we're getting that nice sear on that meat. None of the oil is... Okay. All they need is, or none of the oil is saturating into there. All we need is about 2 minutes on each side. And I think that's been about 2 minutes. I'm going to flip that one and flip this one. And so I'm going to take, no, actually I'm just going to turn this over right onto the plate. I'm going to set it on the plate first and then just empty it out. Okay? That's the fastest way for me. Plus, you know, I'm keeping an eye out on the fish. Okay. There we go. So what I'm going to do is put half over here and half over here and serve the fillets right in the middle. As you can see, as I turn this around, you can see that that is half and half, and the fillets are going to go right in the middle right about now. There we go. You let some of the excess oil drip off. Okay, serve that like that. This is my first attempt at plating. Let the oil drip off. Okay. And I just got a drip of oil right in my pants, but that's all right. There. Okay. This is looking really good, as you can see. And if you see this white stuff in the fish, don't worry about that. That's just protein leaking out of there. All right. And I'm going to add, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my little spicy mayo on the side here. Okay. Right here. And it's coming out all on the fish, but that's all right. And okay, so this is my first attempt at plating. I'm going to take a quick taste of the salmon. Oh yeah, you can see how easy this comes apart. And I'm going to try it out. Wow. The seasonings mixing in with the citrus, I cannot say enough about this. And I'm actually glad I came up with this combination. It makes me feel like Muhammad Ali, because I'm the greatest of all times. Yes. Oh, and that reminds me of my memoir, which I want to give a shout out to right now. It's called I Tried to Box with God. And it's basically about the 10 years that it took me to become independent. And that's including independent in the kitchen and every other thing. The only thing I cannot do is put on socks. But who wears socks these days anyway? All right? So I want to thank you guys for watching and sharing 30 minutes of your time with us. We really appreciate it. Until next time, I'm still David Doc Robertson.